Summertime, summertime, take me. Hey, it's your boy Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Welcome to my kitchen today. It's summer, it's nice and hot. Well, it's not summer, it's late spring, but it is about 40 degrees Celsius outside, and guess where I am? In the house, in the air conditioning. And then I'm gonna complain in the winter how cold it is. Today we're doing a little curry, some curry chicken with potato, boiling away nicely there. It's got another 15 minutes or so to go. If it's your first time here watching me on YouTube, above, click on subscribe. All the latest videos will be sent to you. Below is where you're going to leave me your comments, your questions, your concerns, anything you want to chat about. And do remember to give the video the thumbs up. Curry chicken with potato. It's one of those dishes you make when you've got just a little bit of chicken but you want to stretch it with a few more people, so you add some potatoes and then you got a bigger pot of goodness going on. So here we go, curry chicken with potato. Yes, so let me just go through the ingredients here for making this curry chicken with potato. Up front, something a little bit different. We're going to use some grated ginger. Here's about a half a teaspoon of grated ginger. A heaping tablespoon of your favorite curry powder. In my case, it's a Madras blend, but made down in the Caribbean, so there's all kind of Caribbean goodness in there. 4 medium-sized potatoes that I quartered, peeled and quartered, nice and washed, good to go. We're gonna need 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Back here, I have 3 pounds of chicken legs that I cut up, I washed. I took most of the fat away, all that skin. I washed it with lemon juice and drained it. Nice and dry, ready to go. Here I've got 3/4 teaspoon of salt, some Caribbean Sunshine, Scotch bonnet pepper. I like it a little bit spicy, so I'm probably going to use about half of this. We'll talk a little bit about this pepper in a second. 1 medium-sized tomato. Now here's the thing. If you've got that green seasoning paste in your fridge somewhere, use a teaspoon of that instead of the following ingredients that I'm going to touch on. My green seasoning is all done. Maybe I'll do another video and show you guys. I've got some fresh thyme here, some shadow benny stalks. It looks kind of starving, but see what? That's what I've got, right? A couple scallions, as you can see over here. Those are the ingredients here would more than likely be in your green seasoning, so you don't need to really have these all chopped up and everything like I would be doing. You'll also need a small onion and 4 cloves of garlic. We're going to also need about, I'm guessing about 1.5 to 2 cups of water, which I don't have displayed here. But as usual, if I forgot anything as we go along, I'll show you. I'll be sure to fill you in on that. The first thing we've got to do is to season this chicken so it'll marinate for about at least 20 minutes and you're good to go. In goes the salt, and it may seem like a lot of salt for the chicken, but remember, we'll be adding 4 medium-sized potatoes to this as well. So fear not, it will be good. In goes that grated ginger, and I'm going to use about half of this Scotch bonnet pepper. Here is the thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, and it's better here. This area around here where the seeds are and that sort of white membrane, this is where most of that heat is. If you want the flavor, a bit of the heat but not extreme, don't use this area here. Cut that area out, discard it. I have here in the piece that I'm using, I have a little bit of that major heat area, which is good to go. And another thing, when you're handling these Scotch bonnet peppers, any sort of really hot peppers, be sure to wear gloves. The oils will remain on your hands and you're asking for trouble at that point. We're just going to give the scallion a rough chop in here. It would be so much easier if I use a chopping board and chop this up, but hey. My friend here, Mr. Paring Knife, is working nicely. We can also add a fresh dash of black pepper in here as well, if you really want to take this up another notch. So here goes the thyme. I'm just going to take all those leaves off there. A little bit of the stem goes in, that's okay, we can get that out after. And I'm just going to chop up the shadow benny. Some of you are watching me and saying, well, that's not shadow benny, doesn't look like shadow benny. Trust me, it's wilted, it's dried down, but this is what I have. Those are the consequences of living in North America where you don't get necessarily fresh ingredients. as you would down in the Caribbean. So what I'm going to do here now is stir that up, give it a good stir, and allow it to marinate in the fridge for at least 20 minutes. I've got a nice deep pan here on a medium-high heat. But one thing I forgot to tell you guys when we were marinating that chicken, that tomato was supposed to be chopped up and in there, so that's what I did. It's been marinating now for about 20 minutes. My pan is nice and warm, so in goes that couple tablespoons of vegetable oil, and immediately, since the pan is fairly warm, I'm going to add the diced up garlic as well as the onion to the pot and give that a quick stir. All we're doing here is trying to release the flavors from that garlic, the onion, soften everything up. So what I'm going to do is turn my heat down to minimum and let that go for about 3 minutes. The kitchen smells nice and lovely with that sort of garlic onion combination cooking down here. The edges are just starting to go a little bit brown, so what we're going to do now is add that curry powder to the pot and give it a good stir. You want this to sort of go all over the bottom of this pan, and if it starts going sticky or grainy, that's exactly what we want. Make sure your heat is all the way down on low and let this go for about a minute or two. Keep stirring because you're trying to toast the curry here before we add some water, and this may be a little bit different. If you're accustomed to cooking curry, you probably make a slurry and then add it to the hot oil. But in this case here, we're toasting the curry a little bit. And as you can see, those lovely sort of smoky goodness coming out of the pot. Now all we're going to do is add about 1/4 cup of water to the pot. Give that a quick stir, because what we're doing now, the first thing we did, we toasted the curry. This way it's going to release all those flavors. Now we're cooking the curry. And the reason for us cooking the curry, and my heat is still on low here, the reason for cooking the curry is to get that sort of raw curry taste out of it when the dish is all done. It took about 3 or 4 minutes on that low heat setting to sort of cook down all and burn off all that liquid that we added on here. I'm just going to turn up my heat now to a medium high and really get this cooked down. I want to coat the bottom of this pan as best as I could, because this is where we're building that rich curry flavor for this curry chicken with potato. It's going to take maybe 1 or 2 minutes on that medium high setting, that high setting here, to really get it to where I want it to do, so stay tuned. With all that liquid burn off, you're going to start seeing little oily spots on the bottom here. Just give it a quick stir. It's going to start sticking to the bottom of your pan. This is it. Now we're adding all that seasoned chicken to the pot. Add a few pieces at a time and give it a stir. You want to pick up or sort of deglaze the pan with the pieces of chicken. Don't fret if some of the tomato and everything ends up in there. That's cool. Sooner or later, it's all going to be in the pot here. So I'm just going to give this a quick stir. Again, trying to pick up all that curry goodness from the bottom of the pan. Now what I'm going to do, and my heat is still on high, so I'm going to turn it down to medium and let that cook for about 5 to 10 minutes, stirring it ever so often. It will release its own juices, trust me on that, so don't worry about it burning. The kitchen is smelling lovely already. That curry, that ginger, all kind of niceness. It's been about 11 minutes or so. I've been stirring it ever so often. Most of that liquid that sprouted is starting to dry down, and that's what we want. What we're going to do now, I'm going to crank up the heat to really fry down this, or cook it down all the way down with no liquid whatsoever. It's going to take about 3 minutes to do that. And in case you're wondering why we're doing this, we want to infuse the chicken with that rich, strong curry flavor. So when we add the potato, when we add the water to cook the potato, it will already be infused, and we've already built that strong base, so our gravy won't be thin or runny or without flavor. So I've turned up the heat, and now here's what you got to do. You got to keep stirring ever so often, because you really want to pick up all those flavors and not allow it to burn. All of that liquid is burnt off now. We're good to go. All we're seeing is a sort of a light oil on the bottom of the pan here. The chicken is nice and coated with that rich curry flavor. So what I'm going to do now is add the potato to the pot. Had a little bit of water in there, but that's cool. I just didn't want the potato to go tarnished. Give that a quick stir. And we'll need some more liquid in here to cook down that potato. So in the same bowl that I seasoned the chicken in, I have here 1.5 cups of water. Just give that a quick stir, bring that up to a boil. Then we're gonna put the lid on here, bring it up to a boil, and then allow that to go on a rolling boil until the potato is nice and tender. It's probably gonna take about 20 to 25 minutes or so. It's been about 20 minutes. I've been stirring it. The potato is nice and tender. The chicken is fully cooked. My sort of gravy is starting to thicken up. And here's where you're going to personalize this. First off, you're going to check for salt to make sure there's enough salt in here for you. Adjust accordingly. The second thing is, depending on how thick or what you're using this for, in my case, I'm using this to eat with some bus up shot. So I love the consistency I have here. So I'm going to turn the stove off. Boom! Good to go. This curry chicken with potato is good the way I want it. If you want this a bit more thicker, using the back of your spoon, you can press down on the potato. They're going to crush up and they're going to thicken up that gravy nice and thick if that's the way you want to go. Good with rice, good with roti, with fried bake, with coconut bake, even with dumpling, bread, whatever you got. This curry chicken with potato is good to go, nice and tasty. Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Thanks again, guys, for joining me in my kitchen. I appreciate when you guys are here, and I do hope you give this recipe a try. Curry chicken with potato.